Yeah, I think one of the main objections that we get is we're kind of taught as Americans that we're smarter than everybody. And so, really, a lot of people just worry about the talent that we have, that they're not going to be able to do back end or admin tasks. And these people are beyond overqualified to do these tasks. And so, it's really just painting that picture that, hey, these people have, degrees in engineering. These people are incredibly smart. They're going to be able to do the tasks. You just have to teach them like you would teach anybody if you were to hire them off the street, right? They're not going to know your processes right off the bat. They come pre-trained, but you just have to train them exactly how you want them. These are really hungry and humble people as well. We've kind of seen a change in the American worker and their attitude, right?
Agency VA has been incredible. If you are looking to expand your team, you need an assistant, if you need help with scheduling, talking with your clients, social media content, definitely check out Agency VA. They have a global workforce, and I'm here in Miami, so it was important for me to find an assistant that spoke Spanish, that could understand my market, and they helped me find someone. They helped train my assistant, and she was an incredible addition to my team. It's a cost-effective way for you to expand your team without having to expand your office space. So check out Agency VA. Let them help you expand your team and find the right assistant for your team. Hello, Empower Nation. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast. I am your host, Angela Duncan, speaker, best-selling author, serial entrepreneur. And on this podcast, we speak all things money and business. On today's episode, I have the pleasure of interviewing Jamaica with Agency VA, who is also the sponsor of this episode. And if you are a business owner and you're thinking about expanding your team, you need to think about hiring a virtual assistant. And with Agency VA, they have VAs all across the world, very highly qualified. And we are going to tackle the myths you may have about being a business owner and hiring a virtual assistant. Hi, Jamaica. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so great. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, awesome. So I would love for the audience to kind of get to know you a little bit more before we dive into Agency VA. So tell us about your journey.
For sure. So I actually started studying social work, and I worked as a social worker at a high school for a few months. And a few months in, I knew really quick off the bat that I wasn't cut out for it. I went into it originally because I wanted to help people. And I realized really quickly that the people who do the most difference and have the most impact in the world are people with resources. And so I kind of thought about going into business. And so at the same time, COVID-19 was kind of starting to take place. And my in-laws are farmers, and they sell potatoes to restaurants. And when all the restaurants got shut down, they had just thousands and thousands of extra potatoes that were going to rot. And there were a lot of farmers in the same position. And so they reached out to my husband and I and asked if we wanted to start selling these to consumers directly instead of to restaurants. And so we started to do that. We sold over 3 semi-loads across the United States. We were able to donate 100,000 meals to families as well in Utah, Arizona, and Nevada. And so that kind of solidified it that I wanted to go into business. So I went and I got my MBA. Out of my MBA, I went to a company called Eddie, where I worked in sales, eventually became the head of sales there. And I met some really awesome people who ended up introducing me to Agency VA. And when I got introduced to Agency VA, I just absolutely fell in love with the mission. So I couldn't help but jump over.
Yay, that's amazing. Incredible story during COVID-19, kind of turning things around a little bit, figuring out like a problem solver, finding a solution for something that was going on in the environment, but still, providing and giving back to the community. So that's an awesome story. So what exactly do you do with Agency VA today?
Yeah, so I'm their global ambassador. So I do a few different things. But for example, last month I was in Nicaragua. We did some service projects locally in their community. We made sure we sat down with the people there and gave them a chance to speak so we can make sure that we were treating them right, their benefits were good. And then I do some training with them as well so they can make sure that they're developing in their career, getting leadership training, and having opportunities and jobs that they just really can't find in their country.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about you guys. It's not just you're doing Zoom, and getting to know the people on the other side, but you're going there and you're talking with them so they can see that you truly care about them. And when they can see that, then they're just going to go above and beyond and be like the best employee for any of the clients that come through your agency. So what kind of sets you, besides that, what kind of sets you apart from some of the other agencies that are out there?
Yeah, well, we were created by agency founders. So both of our founders are agency owners and they saw a problem. And so they created agency VA. And so a lot of our trainers have been running, agencies and MGAs, and they've worked at carriers. And so they know the industry in and out. And so it's been really awesome to learn from them and see the impact that they're having on the industry.
Yeah, and sometimes people will ask me why a VA, and I'm here in Miami, so one, office space is ridiculously expensive. So this helps
Yes.
business owners grow their team without having to add space and pay for that space. And you are also talk about more about who works for you guys that you match with business owners. What kind of criteria do they have to meet? Talk a little bit about the employees part of it.
Yeah, for sure. So everyone we hire has at least 2 years of customer service. So they've been on the phone speaking in English for at least 2 years, so they're very comfortable with it. And I've another thing that sets us apart, I've been so impressed by just the quality of people we've been able to bring in. We have industrial engineers, lawyers, teachers, really, really intelligent people who just cannot find a good job in their countries. And we have the opportunity to pay them less than what we'd pay someone in Miami, right? But for them, it's really life-changing income. And so they come to work for Agency VA.
Yeah, life-changing income. That's such a powerful statement, because when you know that you're helping someone that, is working hard to support their family and kind of achieve their own financial goals, and then they're working for you so that you can help achieve your financial goals. It's just a huge like win-win situation. So that's incredible too. So where are your employees located?
Yeah, so we have offices in El Salvador, Nicaragua, Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and India.
Good. So yeah, so good mix of different backgrounds, different service, obviously different languages too. Being in Miami, one of the
Yeah.
huge benefits for me was that, my VA spoke Spanish, which is highly needed in this area. But then, you have them in all different areas too. So what are some, I don't know, objections maybe that you hear from business owners when they're thinking, oh, I don't want to go this route because I heard this, or like what do you hear that you kind of walk through that client to help teach them that this is an incredible opportunity for them to grow their team?
Yeah, I think one of the main objections that we get is we're kind of taught as Americans that we're smarter than everybody. And so really a lot of people just worry about the talent that we have, that they're not going to be able to do back end or admin tasks. And these people are beyond overqualified to do these tasks. And so it's really just painting that picture that, hey, these people have, degrees in engineering. These people are incredibly smart. They're going to be able to do the tasks. You just have to teach them like you would teach anybody if you were to hire them off the street, right? They're not going to know your processes right off the bat. They come pre-trained, but you just have to train them exactly how you want them. These are really hungry and humble people as well. We've kind of seen a change in the American worker and their attitude, right?
Mhm.
And we get that complaint a lot from business owners. And so once they get to meet our people and see how just like hungry and happy they are just to have a job, it changes things for them completely.
Yeah, and I would agree with that too. I think that was probably something, many years ago, I thought that if I'm hiring someone from another country, they're just not as smart as I want them to be. But they have schools, they have colleges,
Yeah.
universities,
Yes.
go through these, they become professionals. And like you said, maybe they just can't earn enough income where they're at. So we can provide them with an opportunity to earn more, but then help our team as well. So that's great too. What are some fun activities besides the one you were just talking about in Nicaragua? I know you've been with Agency VA just a little bit. What are some other fun things that you guys have done with your team as well?
Yeah, so we were recently in the Philippines where they did a talent show, and people in the Philippines, they love to sing, they love to dance. So that was really fun to put together. In Puerto Rico, we're putting together a Christmas party, little things to make them feel like they're part of a community and so that they can have that office culture that sometimes is a little bit missing when they're working remotely.
Yeah, that's so fun. So if a client comes to you, a business owner or anybody comes to you and they want to start the process in hiring a VA, what does that look like for them?
Yeah, so we sit down and we really just go into the details. What task do you think this person could handle? What would you like them to do? What type of personalities are you looking for? And then we begin matching them with a VA that matches what they're looking for. You have to give and take a little bit. Sometimes there's not going to be someone who fits everything you're looking for 100%, just like in the US, right? But we have really awesome people. So we begin the matching process, allowing them to talk to different candidates, and then once they feel comfortable, we move forward and help them set up their systems.
And that's a good point too. So if someone is thinking about going down this route, one of the things when I used to coach is I used to tell people when you're going through your day, I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pen and just think about what are you doing right now? And then just be very conscious about like, oh, this is something I could give to that person, or this is something I should not be doing. I need someone else on my team to be doing it. And if they go through that process for a few days, they're going to easily come up with this list, because sometimes people will say, well, I just don't know what to give to them. I don't know what they can handle. Well, think about what you're doing right now. And is this earning you income? If it's a task that could be taken off your plate that can be trained to somebody else, write it down, start making that list so that when you go to agency VA and you say, all right, I'm ready to hire someone, I need help, you kind of already have that list ready to go. And that makes your process, I think, a little bit easier too, because then you know what the tasks are and what kind of talent you're going to need on the other side so that you can match them with the right person from the get-go.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's good too. So once they hire them, or you do the interviews and the business owner picks a person that they want to work with, what happens at that point?
At that point, we have an IT team that actually comes in and helps set them up on all the systems that you use, and then they go live with you. So these people will be already have a team leader above them, so they have someone they can rely on in office. They have teammates, but then you really just put them through an onboarding process remotely, like you would as if you were bringing on staff anywhere, to get them acclimated to your company.
Yeah, but as a business owner, I'm not having to set up payroll. I don't have to pay payroll taxes.
No.
It's just an expense item that I spent, pay you guys directly. And then you guys obviously take care of paying the virtual assistant. So it's not additional work for us because we're going to do this with somebody anyway, but it could really potentially save us some money and still get amazing talent to help grow the team without, having to go through all of the interviews and placing the ads and bringing people to the office and then having to set up payroll or firing people. It's just a simple process because you guys are a partner with the business owner. And I think that's important for them to know too.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize we cover health benefits, 401k. We take care of everything. So really all you have to worry about is just them helping you in your business.
Yeah, and as the business owner, if I did want to, send them a new computer, or if I wanted to give them a bonus for Christmas, I still have the ability to do that, which you guys just help facilitate as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So once they're onboarded, say that they're working for us for a little bit, and then we determine it's just not the right fit. Then what does that look like, and how do you step back in to help?
Yeah, so we start with the performance improvement plan. So what's not working, and is there anything we can do to help train this individual? If there's really nothing we can do, we get to work immediately to try to find you somebody that is a better fit. Your partnership is not with the VA itself, it's with us. And so we want to work to find somebody that's going to work for you, who's going to be a fit.
Yeah. And what if, as a business owner, say, for example, I have someone who's helping me with marketing and I want them to get some more training on either video editing, things like that. Is that something you guys can handle, or can you help us find a way to help train them a little bit more on maybe an area that, specifically we're having them help us with?
Yeah, we do have resources like that. So we have a team out of the Philippines that specializes in marketing. They do video creation, social media. So if you'd like, we could definitely have them shadow our team for a few weeks, depending on what your needs are, just to get them that exposure if you don't have time to do it yourself.
Yeah. So what do you think future wise for agency VA? What do you see in the future for your company?
That's a great question. I see us maybe going to more countries, touching more lives. We want to make sure that our employees have the best benefits so that they love where they work, and really just helping not only change the lives of our VAs outside of the country, but changing the lives of business owners inside of the country, helping them to scale more profitably and to be more effective. Hopefully, with more education, more people feel more comfortable with hiring a VA. And once they do, I think they'll see the benefits immediately of bringing somebody on.
Yeah. Do you have any business owners or clients that are located outside of the US at this time?
We do. We have a few in Canada as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm always curious. I go on vacation to Europe or to Japan, but I never dive into the business part of other countries. So I think it would be interesting to see, like, does Japan hire VAs? If you're in London, do they hire VAs? Like, kind of how the difference in culture is, or is this more taboo and it's more like an American thing? So that'd be interesting to learn about.
I know. I'll have to do some research into that to see what markets we can break into.
Yeah, that's great too. Any other tips that you can give to our business owners, just to kind of help them, self-discover that this is, something amazing that they should be at least considering when they're growing their team, or even if they feel like they're stuck in their business and they just don't know, like, how do I grow my team? What other tips do you kind of give business owners?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with writing a list of what tasks you're currently doing and what you could get rid of. I always tell people to sit down and figure out what their time is worth, about how much on average do you make an hour. And if there's a task that's really like a $10 an hour task, why are you doing it yourself? Why are you wasting your time on it? And is it worth the investment to take those tasks and give it to someone else? So you can focus on those high dollar an hour tasks so that you can keep building your business. And if you switch your mindset like that and you take a couple days to kind of see what you can dish off and what else you could do, I think most people will see that it's worth the investment and it's going to help take them to that next level.
Yeah. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing with Agency VA?
It's meeting the VAs and getting to know them. They are so humble. They're the nicest people. While I was in Nicaragua, I met with a guy who his parents combined were making $200 a month. And so when he got a job with Agency VA, he was able to retire his parents as well as take care of his family. And so it's stories like that and being on the ground and getting to meet these people that I just feel really grateful. It's an amazing job.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know if you guys do this during your hiring process, because it's been a little bit since I had hired mine. But one of the things I think that would be a great testimonial, so like when the business owner is not only looking at the resume, but then if they get to see a little testimonial video ahead of time, you get to know that person and their heart and their reason. And for me as a business owner, like I want to feel the heart of the other person, because when they have, great heart and great purpose, and you guys help each other to form a great partnership, I just feel like I want to work harder for people that I feel like we're heart connected. And maybe this is a female thing, I don't know, this is why I have the podcast. We talk to females more, but just having a little bit of that information ahead of time would be, I think, hugely beneficial as a business owner, to be able to see the person behind the job and not just the resume piece of it. So that's good too, because you're getting to know them. And so through this process, that's probably another thing for business owners, right? To have a little patience. Like they say, I want somebody. That's great. Let's help you find the right fit person and not rush the process. Now, it could be a few weeks, and just knowing that the time frame might extend past that, but having some patience with Agency VA, having some patience with the VA as you're training them, time blocking. Once you hire them, you need to time block and say, I'm going to give you an hour each day. We're going to learn a new task, and then I'm going to let you, practice it, and then show me that you've got that task before we move on to the next one. Instead of just saying, okay, here's my social media logins, go work my marketing. Well, if they don't know you and the brand very well, then that doesn't do a lot for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. One thing that we're also putting into practice, as well as helping business owners get to know our VAs better, is after 30 days, we're going to interview them and ask them how this job has change their lives. So business owners can now hear firsthand, because there's so many stories like that, but they're just not getting back to the business owners. So they can hear firsthand the impact that they're making as well.
Yeah, that's good. Because like, probably like 50-50 that I've had employees in my companies where they verbally will say to me, I am so grateful, you have changed my life, right? It's sometimes a different mentality, as you were kind of touched on earlier. I don't know what happened with a lot of the workers in the US, but they start to lose that gratitude when, and again, it's probably stressors, the cost of living, especially in Miami, housing costs, gas costs, all of those things, where virtual assistants primarily could be working from home or from a home office. They don't have all those extra expenses that we see here. So it kind of allows for them to pass that gratitude along too. So I have a fun question for you, Jamaica, as we're starting to wrap up the podcast a little bit. And I am very curious to see, knowing where your heart is and the position you do, what you answer for this one. But if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
I think it would be to teleport, so I could just go anywhere in the world instantaneously. That
Yeah.
way I could visit these people in different countries. I love to travel as well and get immersed in different cultures. So that's for sure what my superpower would be.
Yeah. So every couple of weeks you could just like blink and be in India and
Exactly.
come right back home. Like you'll tell your husband, hey, I'll be home for dinner on Wednesday,
Exactly.
That would be fun too. I do think, I wonder, like, is that going to be in the future for us someday? They've made movies about it, but I don't know. I just, from a science perspective, I don't know how that happens.
I hope it does eventually.
Yes. So if our audience in Jamaica wants to get in touch with Agency VA, what's the best way for them to learn more about you? Share your social media's website, how do they get in touch to get their process started?
For sure. So you can go to our website. It's agencyva.com. You can also call or text me. My number is 801-691-3292. So happy to help.
Awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate your time today. It's a lot of information, and I know that this is so helpful for business owners. They need to just not be scared, take the plunge, because obviously if it doesn't work out just like a in-person employee here, then you part ways and it's okay. So check out Agency VA. It's been amazing for me. I've had a great experience and I highly recommend them as well. So thank you, Jamaica.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning into Empower Her Money podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, share this podcast, and leave a review wherever you are tuning in.